Yeah, very, very solid map to go for, especially if you have the feeling that you're on the equal skill level than your opponents, because let's face it, if you're the underdog and you still decide to go to Infernal Shrines, you're probably going to get out-rotated, you're probably going to get out-soaked, and eventually outsmarted by the favorite team. However, if you're roughly at the same skill level, then you can really make good map calls and use them to your advantage. You can, for example, go for globals, go for attack on false set, and then just soak while the other team does the Punisher and eventually get more value out of it.
And so, neither of these teams, like you said, with a spectacular win rate.
Yeah.
One of those might change. We will have to see. As we load into the first draft of our series today, it is going to be TheOne taking the first ban. Let's see how much priorities we put here.
I think both teams probably have that gentleman's agreement of not banning Illidan. Because they probably want...
We both want him. Whoever gets the better draft to get him. We will see.
Genji not making it out of this ban phase, to no surprise. We saw last week and the days before how important of a factor he can become. But Tassadar already being kind of a smart choice here for either team, basically, whoever gets first pick, because it is already taking away so much momentum and so much power for a potential Illidan pick later on. It's also very flexible if you want to go the standard Vala route, so... I really, really do like it. Also, Tetra, I'm now double-checking on the Infernal Shrines icon. It looks like they fixed it. No,
hooray!
No borders, anyway.
Yeah, it was only on the last map we saw it on Towers. It was weird. Either way, let's see. Now, interesting thing to do here would be to pick Illidan just straight away, just ignore the Tassadar, remove that potential, because it's better... Okay, I disagree with this, because... It's better, I would argue, to at least take a hero who you're very confident with, who you know one of your players is consistently good at and very, very fond of, due to it being 6 out of 8 of his current games played in the season. But instead, both teams let him go, and now there is a double support on the side of TheOne. And what I would have suggested is picking Illidan, picking a support with him, and then just picking a second support later on. And just going with double support just without the Tassadar and working it that way.
Yeah, I mean, Illidan could even still work for TheOne. Like, they've got the Holy Trinity almost set up. Tassadar, Rhaegar, Illidan. That's a lot of protection for the Betrayer. And BTG, they still do not ban it because they realize, we're the ones picking first after this ban phase, so we still have chances to pick him up. If they actually want to go that route. Like, they could just have another gentleman's agreement of saying nobody's going to pick him.
We've seen that so many times before, where two teams both come in with a hero that both of them really like, and then neither one picks him. And this could either be just due to the fact that they're so confident the other team will pick him that they just both teams only pick counters, and therefore that hero is not viable. Or a situation of, we know you know how to play it so well that if we picked it, we know you know how to play against it. Mind games! Hey! Denied. Therefore, no, via my prediction that whichever team gets Illidan wins, no one wins. It's going to be a draw.
Yeah.
Alright, so interesting start. So far, TheOne has the better draft, but BTG not out of it yet. Their draft's still very solid.
Exactly. Aurel unfortunately not being available anymore for BTG. That could have certainly been a possibility. But even as it is, they could go Abathur if they really wanted to go for the double Grey main. I wouldn't hate it.
That'd be a great idea.
Yeah, I would love it, actually. Then, you know who else I would really like to see come back to China? I mean, you might be like, yeah, because you're Kendrick. But no, I want to see some Varian again. I really think that the fact that he has been completely shut down and locked out of those drafts completely kind of worries me, especially if you go Greymane Uther. You would have so much burst damage, so much lockdown. The Cursed Bullet Taunt still so powerful. And oftentimes going for these super quick pick comms is the only way, or not the only way, but one of the better ways to counter a Rhaegar whose Ancestral Healing needs a little bit and has a pretty long wind-up time.
Excellent point. Excellent point indeed. And so, BTG. Double support is definitely like the go-to meta at this point in China.
Yeah.
If we are seeing a second support, which one do they go for? You already mentioned Abathur. Seems like a marvelous choice to me. Do they play it? Do they have a better idea? These are questions that will maybe have answers, or maybe they'll just ignore the second support completely and just go for whatever the hell they want. So far, double tank. Or tank and bruiser. Stitches and Sonya.
I do not dislike this at all. I think Stitches We saw what he was capable of doing on Towers of Doom when CE pulled him out, and it was really, really strong. It looked really, really strong. Then we had the Sonya, who also CE utilized to the maximum efficiency. Sonya is great at dealing with those shrines, but a nice response coming out from TheOne with that Malthael. Yeah. A lot of protection coming in there as well by Tassadar and Rhaegar. And what could they go for now? I wouldn't actually mind an Arthas, to be honest.
Arthas would be solid. That's definitely a reasonable idea. So far, by the way, this is going to be Fish's 4th ever hero in HGC China in the form of that Sonya. Hugo, I'm pretty sure he's played Malthael before. I think he is I think that one's not too out of the ordinary for him. I'm double checking though.
And I would really like to see an Arthas for many reasons. A, there's a lot of melee heroes on the side of BTG. B, you could slow everyone while Malthael just does his naughty work. But this guy, ETC, fulfills a very similar role. He's great against many melees. One power slide and you can potentially stun them all. Then Malthael, of course, in a mosh pit. That is probably one of the scariest things you could combine it with. So, yeah, I don't hate it.
Neither do I. Looks good. ETC is solid. Also, Hugo has played Malthael twice, 50% win rate so far. He's actually only played Illidan once, actually, this season. And it's Chromie, double assassin, not going for that double healer as the last pick.
Yeah.
There is no Ariel in the game. There is Cleanse in the game. Everyone has high mobility, but that's very much down to timing. But Slowing Sands, I think, is probably the go-to here, which is going to give you more value, and also Grey Main Executioner from range, giving him more poke potential.
Definitely true. And one final detail I wanted you guys to make aware of. You could see that Tyrael's second ban shortly after they planned on picking Malthael. So already throughout the playday, we could see how certain teams seem to have adapted and, you know, improved the overall drafting, because we saw plenty of times how Tyrael's Sanctification could counter the Tormented Souls by Malthael. So really solid stuff coming out today. I feel both, or all teams, RPG included for example, have stepped up their drafting game tremendously.
Indeed, they've taken the first week. First week's gone, first week's over. Forget that first week, it's old news. This is week 2, and everyone is stepping up a little bit, or at least day 2 of week 2. Very nice of RPG to save their new drafting style up until we were watching.
How kind of them, exactly.
How kind of them. Very polite. So yes, for now, very solid drafts by both teams. I've always wanted to lean towards double support because it's just so good.
Right.
But that does not in any way mean that BTG's draft is huge amount worse, because their frontline, I would argue, has a little bit more blow-up potential.
Oh, yeah.
And a little bit more just actual frontlininess. They're going to be able to guard a lot more.
And it's Stitches after all. One golden hook is all it takes to potentially win the game. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be deployed to Infernal Shrines with the first game between BTG and TheOne. Alright, and in the blue trunks, we've got BTG, a very promising new and upcoming team here in HGC China. They're represented by A on the Chromie, 619 on Stitches, Fish on the Sonya, MJ on the Uther, and ST on the Grey Main. We have a little bit of a pause.
On the right-hand side, within the pause, it is going to be TheOne. And playing for TheOne, we have Hugo playing the Malthael, Lucky on the Tassadar, Meng on the ETC, Zyran on the Rhaegar, and playing that Valor, it is the casters. it is Hihi.
Man, the production ruined your great entrance. I was looking forward to the Michael Jackson.
I didn't have one.
Oh, you didn't have it ready anyway.
You know I don't go back to the same jokes too often. I'm an innovator.
You haven't done it, or you didn't do it last time, so I thought now was the time to surprise us all. You know?
Yeah, it did.
Maybe
I
next
did it
time.
in a team fight last time.
All right. Yeah, apparently there seemed to be some technical issues. Maybe they were demanding new equipment once again.
Maybe. First Chromie, by the way, for TheOne. First time they have run this in HGC China. Maybe in Silver League. We don't have statistics from there. Either way, the pause has been completed. And it's a Q talent for Chromie level 1. We're getting back to this style again. And with slowing sands, which is what we believe is potentially likely, that could be very fun.
I totally forgot to ask some of the European pro players who play a lot of Chromie, like Chris, for example, or Schwimpy, about this build, because I have yet to be fully convinced. I was convinced when I saw 365 on Hot Slatey just go to town with it. If A now on BTG can do the same thing, I have turned into a believer. But up to this point, I'm still like, yeah, maybe a once-in-a-lifetime thing, but let's see how it truly goes.
A very reasonable request. We are also seeing Warpaint for Sonya, allowing her to do a little bit more mercenary potential, at least in this game. But of course, more sustain is always nice. ETC responding with a block party. He's against Greymane, potential for Executioner. Chromie, even Bronze Talons could be an effect here. And of course, Sonya auto attacks. Very solid go-to talent as a level 1 for Meng.
Yeah. I mean, even, hold on, that was a nice hook over the wall, but unfortunately he hit Lucky on the Tacitor, so he was lucky that he played Tacitor once again, because Dimensional Shift is pretty good in order to get out of harm's way. But sometimes I wanna talk about block talents, and especially block party, because it's an AoE block. Even getting value if there's no real basic attacker, because some of the warriors like ETC, for instance, or Leoric, if he were in the game, they hit pretty hard. And if you take away some of the value here from those slow basic attacks, it's pretty good too.
Very true indeed. So, Chromie, Piercing Sand, standard QQ. Now, we do see sometimes adjustment on level, I guess level 5 for Chromie these days. We will see usually a swap around either between Dragon's Eye with this build. Another pause here quickly. Yep. We will see Dragon's Eye, especially on this map, just due to the crazy amount of shrine clear it can give you. And of course, wonderful poking without the rest of the Dragon's Breath talents. Or if you're afraid of someone going into your backline, like potentially a Malthael, we will see Chrono Sickness. And combine that into the level, I want to say 20, but it's 18 because Chromie and Doral Anomaly.
Yeah, very true. Can I just say that the outfits today look really awesome? Like, it looks like 2 bodyguards next to Lady Q in the middle. With the
the casters seem to always wear the male casters always seem to wear the same thing. This is not my favorite outfit of Q's. It looks like someone's taken my grandma's tablecloth and just made it into a coat.
I was about to say that I actually do enjoy it because it's so different from what we're used to seeing.
It's like a neck curtain.
To me, it looks very Chinese, though, you know, with the long sleeves.
I can agree that it looks Chinese, but it's not my personal taste.
Well, you know, you can't always please the Tetcher, the mean green casting machine.
Why am I green? I'm not that mean.
Just made that up because you like the Horde and you're just a beast, you know.
Green is actually my favorite color, but I'm not mean. How dare you say that to me? I'm going to mess you up, man.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we're very, very sorry for the several interruptions that we had on today's broadcast. I'm pretty sure that the peons over there in the studios are working double time to resolve the issue.
I think we should start negotiating to get paid by the hour, Kendrick. It might work out better for us due to some of the delays.
Yeah, yes. Very true. Oh, I just noticed, by the way, that No on the right-hand side and Big Guts on the left-hand side, they wear different ties.
They do. The ties are really the only things that get adjusted. Yeah. Their badges are always the same. Their hair's always adjusting as well.
So, yeah. Yes. It's kind of cool. I love the fact that we now know a couple of more nicknames from the Chinese commentators.
Well, we know kind of their nicknames. We're terribly
we just give them nicknames, right?
We're terribly translating and then extrapolating data from that terrible translation.
Oh, by the way, I just noticed that speaking so much about Chinese commentators and analysts, I'm looking forward to seeing our good friend Genshuo back. Genshuo, excuse me.
Yes, that's going to be good. That's happening next series. So
next series with KT in the mix, we have a caster turned pro, Genshuo. Just keep an eye out for, as we sometimes want to call him, the Chinese Bob Marley with a fancy haircut.
That will actually be the double caster. Wait, no, it won't be, will it? Hang on.
I mean, kind of. You know, 365 went back and forth. So
yeah, I was about to say, yeah, it is that one. So yeah, it's the caster matchup. 365 ex pro turned caster turned pro again.
Yeah,
and Genshro, who may have been pro before we arrived, we don't know. But either way, he's gone from being a caster the 2 seasons we were casting to going to play for KT.
Yeah, which is really, really cool to see this constant back and forth, you know, in the scene. I actually would love to see something like that happen in Europe or in A. Like, for example, Dreadnought announces that he's going to go back pro. I would love to see that, to be honest.
Wouldn't mind it. That would be cool. Although, actually, yes, I would mind it because we miss out on Dreadnought's casting. Take it back. It's it's a bad idea. But there's the thing. Yeah, you always want to see it go the other way around and see a caster go back and show that it's not impossible to make the reverse transition.
Right.
But his casting is good.
Yeah.
We don't want that to happen.
I mean, if he wanted
it to the only way I'd be happy is if he was happy doing it. Because obviously people should do what makes them happiest, always.
Exactly. If he got a multi-million-dollar deal by, let's say, I don't know. And, all right. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're back in the action here between BTG and TheOne. Not much has happened yet, so if you just tuned in or if you went on a small bio break, welcome back. And it's going to be a good show for sure because we see some interesting hero picks. The Chromie going full Q, full China, we can say at this point. Because have you ever seen the exact same build or at least the same approach in any other regions? I can't recall.
In a professional game?
Professional game.
No. Follow-up stun to the hook is beautiful. Chromie with the finishing shot. Valor bites the dust. Rhaegar bites the dust. Tassadar becomes a blur and gets out of there. And Meg having to use the face melt to escape. But beautiful first 2 kills going over to Beyond the Game once again. Yeah. This has definitely been the highest kill count team we've probably had in HGC China this season. Yeah. And once again, living up to their name.
Yeah, very, very nicely done. So far, all the Qs on the side of A on the Chromie landed just perfectly. We see a different approach, by the way, from Rhaegar this time around. The Spirit Walker's Grace at level 4. No longer are we going to see the Healing Totem, and I think there are many reasons for it. Most importantly, though, the Greyman Cocktails, the Stitches Slam, you know, they cover such a big range that there's a high chance of the Healing Totem just getting blasted to pieces. So I don't hate the Spirit Walker's Grace. It's a nice, you know, alternative choice. It's good.
It's a really big lead-in as well to Tidal Waves.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Which is hasn't been the go-to talent for a while. Earthshield has very much taken precedence, but the fact is you can run Earthshield with either the Feral Heart or the crap, Healing Totem. Why did I blank on that? That's the easiest one to remember. But the Tidal Wave is very much a mana-intensive talent, and you can't really afford to be in wolf form while using it. Yeah. And of course, Totem, it gives a little bit of anti-synergy. So this is definitely the go-to talent if you're running Tidal Waves. Doesn't guarantee it, but it definitely makes it a far bigger possibility, and that just means more consistent healing and more targeted healing coming in from Zyra.
Exactly. Also, as a natural consequence, more AoE healing, which is oftentimes nice against heroes like Rayman, who likes to poke a lot with the cocktail build, or the Chromie, who could always hit more than one person with the Dragon's Breath here, so I don't hate it. Nice little detail here you could try to follow on Meng here on the ETC. Try to run towards the enemy team so that the cocktail would not hit his allies behind him. Unfortunately, it didn't work. The allies were still too close, but all those positioning tricks and tips always nice to follow.
I like it. I like it indeed. So Chromie did go for the Dragon's Eye, by the way. So this seems to be the standard China talent. We very rarely see Antarola normally unless the backline is super under threat, and we do in fact see that slowing sands like we did predict before the game started.
Yeah, I mean, the slowing sands, they provide so much shrine control. All those choke points, those entrance points can be blocked completely, and if you then want to go through as the opposing team, you're gonna all get slowed, making yourselves an easier target for the Chromie skill shots, and as such, I do love the slowing sands. Also, of course, you have a cleanse, you have Tassadar shields, so even if you went Temporal Loop, you know, the guaranteed burst up damage follow through would not be always there against so much healing and support power.
That is correct. Ming takes a Dragon's Eye, but able to heal up quite quickly, getting consistent healing from his team. Slowing Sands, though, in that perfect choke point, and that's just going to be enough to drive the one back. There's no way they can efficiently fight this now. They're going to try and take the long way round, but it's not too late, actually. They're 15 in.
Yeah, they also took a mercenary camp, the Fallen Shaman camp, applying a little bit of pressure on the top lane for BTG to deal with. So they're the ones who have to put the pedal to the metal here. They really need to get this shrine as quickly as possible so that they can deal then with the Fallen Shamans, because those can single-handedly destroy forts and even keeps later on. 28 to 31, pretty even. Another Dragon's Eye dropping Meng low. Those slowing sands becoming a problem, but down goes Valor. Stitches value 619, looking for another 39. They just need to poke somehow. Tass and Malthael moving in. Cocktail snipes it. They can't get it. Then it's taken by BTG. They tried, but it was a quick clear by Greymane. A perfect snipe on the one Malthael was going for. That was able to guarantee the Punisher and level 10 for BTG. Beautiful. The most reliable source of destroying those skeletons, Vala, unfortunately had to bite the dust earlier. And Tasser, although he tried to tickle those skeletons to death, did not work out. The tickle beam is not strong enough after all, especially since he didn't even go for the auto attack with Templar's Will. But they hold pretty well here against this Punisher. They baited beautifully over the wall and even towards the second gate, so that's kind of nice. Now level 10, though, for both sides has arrived.
Yes, it is. And Sonya has yet to pick hers, holding it for quite a while. Stitches has gone for Gorge. Gorge Leap? Is that a combo? Not one I've seen in a while.
I mean, there it is.
And go for the throat. We love BTG. It's just constant aggression to quote Vince McMahon, ruthless aggression. Immediately hit by a sandblast is Hugo, who has gone for the Tormented Souls. No last rights here. Yeah. And we are seeing Archon, Strafe, the Ancestral Healing, and Mosh Pit as well.
Yeah, that was a lot of damage once again on Vala. She is definitely going to be the priority target for Chromie. And now there's a couple of ways they can play this, right? BTG, that is. They can Gorge one, use Sonya Leap to stall out or stun all the others in the process, or they can use the stun from Leap to lock the target that was just gorged and prevent it from escaping, basically. So I'm curious to see how they're going to play this exactly. I mean, the Leap is also a very solid anti-mosh pit tool, so maybe that was the thought process behind it?
That is a potentially good idea, as Divine Shield is used on Stitches to get him out, and the Mosh Pit hits no more. Guess what's also a good anti-Mosh Pit tool? Divine Shielding the one person caught in it.
Yeah, then we see, oh my goodness, Tasser.
Oh no, how lucky are you, dude? Dimensional Shift.
Oh, yes!
And he's gone! Ancestral not landed! And it's HGC in trouble as well. Gets healed up though. Rhaegar's healing will be enough to keep him alive. Hugo, not so lucky. Gets Gorge, slowing Sands. Where are you gonna go? Down he goes. BTG, ruthless aggression as always.
The mind games were so insane, though. Tasser did not see where Chromie's Dragon Breath would hit, and he actually predicted that it would land in his movement path. Unfortunately, he couldn't know that it was aimed completely off. He used the Dimensional Shift, and as a result, Sonya immediately turned on the heat, stunning him with a leap and securing his team a kill. Rhaegar being a little bit too far away to drop the Ancestral Healing in time, and then, of course, the cheeky bite just before Malthael was in range of that fort, which would have saved him most likely. Oh, things just went so well for BTG here.
And things are going from bad to worse for the one, as BTG continues to put the pressure on. Moving in to pressure this bot lane. It's a full slam Stitches, by the way, even with the nerf on the damage. They don't even need any sustain. It's all about that burst. Lucky eats more sand. Being very unlucky with eating these sand blasts.
Yeah. And of course, the stun provided by the Punisher makes it a little bit easier to land hooks and sandblast. So that's another cool tool they can use to deliver the pain. And just Meng is not having a good time. He's getting poked down. And guess what? If you manage to successfully poke down an ETC, you don't have to be worried about those power slides and mosh pits.
It's going! Oh, Punisher was like, I'm coming for it. Nah, I'm not bothered anymore. Changed its mind and moved on to the core, where it is going to die because it is distracted. There we go. Finally move back up to the keeper. It will take the final shot. Tassadar eating some more damage.
Ooh.
Pops are gone. Looks like they want to try and make a play out of this onto MJ. Slowing Sands blocks to give him a chance to escape. Hugo coming in. Tormented Souls trying to finish him off. Gorge is very good counter to that.
Yeah.
Is the strafe. Leap does not hit Valor. She keeps the damage going, but Tassadar got deleted in the process. Down goes Valor. Mosh
takes another bite
by Meg. That's going to be a very quick wipe onto 4 members here. If this was later in the game, this would be game, but this is likely just going to be a keep.
I gotta give it to ST here in that team fight. I mean, everybody played well, don't get me wrong. Like 619 denying the Tormented Souls value with a Gorge, but ST on the Greymane, there were so many cool details in his team fighting behavior that really made you think he's an awesome Greymane player. The stutter stepping, the constant stutter stepping, the clean executions twice in a row for Go for the Throat to basically get a cooldown reduction or a cooldown reset immediately. He just tore things apart on the side of TheOne, and BTG, to me, they look like one of the strongest teams mechanically in the league right now.
They really do. They are so aggressive, and but they execute their aggression effectively every time.
Exactly.
And deny value that isn't synergized. TheOne have been trying to use just abilities that on their own gain value with no synergy and no setup. They're not executing their comp. Also, Rhaegar's already did go for Earth Shields, not for Tidal Waves. Did go for that burst protection, which I guess makes sense considering the comp they're up against now, but it's still it's not really anti-synergy. No matter what, you're going to get value from having mana. You don't lose anything with this composite, with this build. It's just, you don't get maximum efficiency, which makes me sad.
You could really see how Chromie A was mercilessly capitalizing on the fact that Hey on the Vala was just standing still for this one tiny second. And that's why stutter stepping or constantly being in motion is so important, especially in competitive play. You can never make yourself an easy target to skill shots, especially not when there's an almost fully stacked Chromie with a Q build there. So really cool to see the lethal accuracy coming out from A in this game. Quite impressive.
RayVSG in the chat has actually made an excellent point that BTG, the reason they look so impressive to us is because, yes, they're super aggressive, but their aggression always has a point. They're not fighting for the sake of fighting ever, like we see from a lot of Chinese teams. Because fighting for the sake of fighting means you die a lot, meaning you actually see less fighting. BTG, they're able to fight so constantly because they always gain value.
Exactly. They always gain value. It's a very good point. And they have those playmaking capabilities that allows them to do so. The leap, the gorge, the hooks, the Greymane protection provided by Uther. Everything has been absolutely on point. Even the zoning, even if they don't play aggressively, they have the means to do so. With the slowing sands coming by Chromie, for example. It's just so impressive to see how they're playing the map, how they find the perfect balance between engaging Ham on the enemy team's backline or just playing it patiently on the map.
We see the Punisher moving in. BTG, they want the second keep of the game. Tass has already had to be back. Malthael's taking his time. He's still microing, meaning he is not big damage onto Meng. And the thing is, those Tassadar shields are all great and good, but it's very hard to predict who those Chromie abilities are going to land on a lot of the time. Meng, he could have moshed there. He did mosh there, trying to get some damage out. Divine Shields dropped. Stitches just didn't care. And
Vala's in the base.
With that? Absolutely nothing. But here comes... Never mind. Was about to be dramatic. Rhaegar died to Chromie as well. Malthael leap as well into the backline. Vala is removed. Tassadar is in the sowing sands, and actually that makes a miss. Meng is at beautiful max range snipe. Meng the only survivor. And beyond the game, they are very low. Down goes Chromie.
They're also low.
Damage after power slide. Meng, one man wrecking crew. Can he do it?
I mean, the Pinball Wizard just made Chromie explode. If he has all of his ability...
Oh, never mind. Go with the throat, kind of good. And down he goes. That is GG. Beyond the game, taking game number 1.
Yeah.
One kill to the one.
Very spectacular fashion too. That one kill, you know, Chromie just went poof. Can't really falter too much. And BTG, they look pumped up. They look very excited after taking game number 1 so cleanly. And rightfully so. I do want to say this, Tetcher.